everybody, and welcome back to the Blossom Review. How are you? Today we're talking about TVN's Pro Bono, a masterfully crafted legal drama that came to a close in January 2026. Pro Bono is an often maddening yet always optimistic portrayal of how far greed and corruption can go, and a reminder of how we can always fight back, no matter how small we might feel. Quick warning before we start, this review should contain some very mild spoilers, okay? Pro Bono introduces us to star judge Kang Da-wit, flawlessly played by Jung Kyung-ho, who arrives at Seoul Central District Court to a crowd of journalists. As he walks past them, he ignores their questions about today's trial, in which he is to sentence the head of one of Korea's most powerful conglomerates. With Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude in hand, he makes his way to the court with a cheeky, confident demeanor. While he's kind to the security guard and to his assistant, he's merciless at the bench. In an unprecedented ruling, he sentences the powerful CEO to 10 years in prison and a 70 billion won fine. Kang is the people's judge, a high school graduate who clawed his way to South Korea's most prominent court and now fights for the downtrodden. Or does he? We soon realized that the copy of 100 Years of Solitude was just an empty cover to a manga series. He then celebrates his latest step towards public acclaim, one that will eventually lead him to his ultimate goal, becoming the next Supreme Court Justice. The first 15 minutes of Pro Bono are a masterclass in character introduction. Kang is the book he carries, his seemingly righteous persona a mere cover to an ambitious, single-minded man. He knows the system and how to navigate it. Cunning and manipulative, he knows when and to whom to be sycophantic, generous and self-assured. But soon his carefully designed plan towards the Supreme Court goes astray when he's framed for bribery and forced to resign. That's when Oh Jung-in, played by Lee Yoo-young, Kang's old friend and the CEO of Oh & Partners, one of Korea's most prestigious law firms, contacts him and asks for his help. Oh then offers Kang a role in her company as a senior advisor, as a lawyer in some fancy profitable department. No, as a public interest attorney in their pro bono division. There he meets the brilliant Park Gi-pum, played by So Ju-young, the multi-skilled Jung Yeon-sil, played by Yoon Na-moo, the outspoken Yoo Neun-hee, played by So Hye-won, and the naive Hwang Jung-woo, played by Kang Hyun-suk. On the surface, these 5 characters couldn't be more different, but the journey Pro Bono invites us to will soon test that theory. Resigned to his fate, Kang then proposes a deal to Oh. If he manages to bring up their win rate from 20 to 70% in a year, Oh will make him the next Supreme Court Justice. To make that happen, Kang embarks on a journey that may start materialistic, but soon turns into a quest for justice, an exploration of human nature, and a piercing portrayal of prejudiced, degraded structures that place power in the hands of the few by ruining the lives of the many. The narrative of Pro Bono is angry, charmingly and cleverly angry at the system, at the hypocrisy and corruption that permeate most, if not all, of our institutions. This rage fuels every episode, which observes the underbelly and the pretense of Korean society with biting precision. Behind the facade of a just, modern and politically correct nation, the Pro Bono team sees the forgotten, the oppressed and the marginalized. They give them a voice, bringing their realities to the spotlight and offering them the trust, support, and acceptance they have never been given. This is a ruthless yet subtle script in which every single event, exchange, and element matters. Prejudice, whether against foreigners or women or persons with disabilities, comes to the surface through everyday actions and seemingly innocent comments, but also through ingrained and structural inequalities. The cultural obsession with hierarchy and rank, the senseless, antiquated laws, the suffocating celebrity culture, Pro Bono tackles it all, connecting all these dots through a modern retelling of the biblical story of David and Goliath. Kang Da-wit, which stands for the pronunciation of David in Korean, is a character who relentlessly pursues what he wants, which is the position of Supreme Court Justice. But with every case he faces, he grows into a person who recognizes and seeks what he truly needs, which is the truth and a more equal society. But the David in Pro Bono isn't just Da-wit, but the Pro Bono team altogether. It's them against a gigantic, all-powerful system that they strive to change. Yes, change, not a defeat. Pro Bono may always respond to its dark, cruel, infuriating conflicts with wonderfully humane and optimistic resolutions, but is never naive enough to believe that our David could bring down this Goliath once and for all. Pro Bono is a step towards the right direction, an illustration of how we can all be a bit more compassionate, a reminder of how we should always stand up for what we believe is right. What gives heart and sparkle to a script that isn't scared of addressing some very heavy themes is the interactions within the Pro Bono team. Their dynamics, extraordinarily established and charismatically delivered, bolster their individual characterization and create a group of well-rounded personas that you empathize with and root for. It's fascinating to see them working together as Kang identifies the unique strengths in his fellow lawyers and teaches them how to use those to their advantage. He teaches his colleagues to look at their opponent with more realistic and less romantic ideals. He shows them that in order to win, they sometimes have to play a winding, complex game. Righteous beliefs alone will never defeat Goliath, so they have to manipulate reality and logic and law, making use of the loopholes to win their battles. It's this relationship between Kang and the Pro Bono team that shows us, the audience, that Kang isn't all that bad. He may be full of old-fashioned beliefs, greedy desires, and questionable methods, but he's hardworking, resourceful, and kind. Unconsciously, Kang has always known what he needs, but it is the Pro Bono team that awakens in him his true purpose and allows him to grow into the person he genuinely is. The unwavering principles that guide the Pro Bono team encourage Kang to replace his cynicism with selflessness and sincerity. The narrative of Pro Bono is carefully paced and structured. Its twists and turns meticulously designed by characters who are given the autonomy to cleverly create their own paths. Antagonists, who range from morally grey to fully unscrupulous, are given motivation, wit, and the hubris to cause their own downfall. With the show's main theme consistently guiding everything that happens in this series, every action always has a consequence. The final arc of Pro Bono brings all its elements together by allowing its characters to put into practice everything they've learned. When the mentees are forced to go against their mentor, both sides are offered a choice: to stick to their old ways or to act as their new, fully fledged selves. Pro Bono comes to a close as a rewarding, thought-provoking, and touching story that recognizes both the ugliness and the beauty in human nature and in the society that we all build together. So the final question is, should you watch Pro Bono? Through a riveting and provocative narrative, Pro Bono encourages us to recognize our own hypocrisy and look at the world around us with more tolerant eyes. The show's social commentary may start locally, but it soon expands to encompass universal experiences that all of us, regardless of where we are, will relate to. What makes Pro Bono so rare and so flawless is how this is a story that portrays an unjust and brutal world without ever giving in to its cynicism and gloom. Kang and the Pro Bono team reminds us that no matter how long or dark the night, we can still fight. We can still raise our voices against the giant that oppresses us. Goliath might still stand, but together we can make it weaker by changing our reality one step at a time. Pro Bono is available on Netflix. Quick reminder that our complete review of Pro Bono is now available on the Blossom Review, and over on Substack this week we reviewed the Japanese and Korean versions of Even If This Love Disappears Tonight. I will leave all the links in the description if you guys would like to give them a read. Guys, thank you so very much for being here. I really hope that you like this video and you subscribe so I can see you here every week for a new review. Take very good care of yourself, and I'll see you very, very soon. Big kiss. Bye.